Hi everyone! In this video, we are going to learn how we are able to use Microsoft Excel to create a profiling tool like DASS 21. You are able to use a similar method to create your own profiling tool. Let's see how it works. There are 4 components to make this thing work. The first one is to set up the questions where it has the respective categories for them. And from each individual question, we will have a different scoring for their answers. And we will combine them and to produce the result. And from the result, we will come out the final report, which is available in Microsoft Excel as a personal profiling tool. Let's get started. This is the first step we are going through. What you can see on the screen now, on the column A, it has a different category for different measurement. And meanwhile, the column B, it indicates the question number, and it has the total 21 questions. And meanwhile, the column C, it lists down the question. And column D is the one user is going to input. And the possible answers for them, they are never, sometimes, often, almost always. To make the data entry a little bit easier for user, we will use number to indicate individual of them. Never will become 0, sometimes will become 1, often will be 2, and almost always will be 3. Let's see how it works. The first step we are going to do on the questions is to set up the instruction for the answer. First, I will select the range from D2 until D22, then go to data, then go towards the right side, it says data validation. Click on this, and I want to allow the whole number, which means it will be between 0 to the maximum of 3. After that, I will go to input message, and the title will be enter one of the numbers. Then I will indicate 0 means never, 1 means sometimes, 2 means often, 3 means almost always. At the same time, I want to let the user know how to do the error correction. So I will go to error alert, and the title will be correction. And the error message will be, please enter one of the numbers below. Whenever the user key in something wrong, they will get this message. And once I'm happy with this, all the setting, I could press OK. And let's do a quick test. If I key in 0, it's OK, 1 is OK, 2 means OK, 3 means OK. If I key number 4, if I go away, I will get this error message. I will press cancel. If I key in 1.5, which is not inclusive of the valid numbers, if I go away, I will get the similar message. Press cancel. So this is how we are able to set the first level of control on what is allowable for the answer. After this is done, the next thing we want to do is to set up the display. Now the answer is showing 0, 1, 2, 3. These are not elegant enough. It will be even better. It will show 0 as never, 1 as sometimes, 2 as often, 3 as almost always. In order to achieve this one, we are going to use conditional formatting. First, we will select all the answers, and we go to Home, Conditional Formatting, highlight cell rules when it's equal to, and I want to equal to number 3, and I want to format it using custom format. Here, I will go to custom, and inside the type, I will remove all of them, and I will key in almost always. Because almost always is an alphabet, I want to enclose it with double quote, something like this. Almost always, and close double quote. Once I'm done, I can press OK, then press OK. And you can see it becomes the hashtag. I could just extend the column width to see the answer. And I will repeat the same thing for the often, which is number 2. I go to Home, Conditional Formatting, highlight cell rules when it's equal to number 2, and I want to use custom format, and I go to the last category, which is custom. Inside the type, I will remove them and put the double quote for often, because these are alphabets. Double quote, often, and close double quote. Then I go to OK and press OK. I will repeat the same step for sometimes, which means the number 1. Go to Home, Conditional Formatting, and let cell rules equal to number 1, and I want to use custom format. Inside the category of custom, the type, remove the word general and put double quote sometimes and close double quote. Then you can press OK and OK. And for the 0 is a bit interesting, because whenever the blank cells, it will be interpreted as 0. If let's say I use 0 for the comparison, it will not be accurate. So therefore, I want to ignore the blanks and meanwhile only focusing on the number 0. To do so, we will go to Home, Conditional Formatting, New Rule. I want to use a formula to determine which cells to format. Click on this, the last one. Then I will set the formula will be equal. I will use N. This I press F4 twice. 1, 2. It means it's only locked on the column be equal to 0. At the same time, I want to check is blank for the same cell and press F4 twice. F4 once, F4 twice, close parenthesis equal to false, and close parenthesis. I go to Format, go to Category of Custom. Inside the type, I will remove the general and put the double quote never and close double quote. Then I will go to OK and OK. You can see it works perfectly. If I go out from the selection, this is how the thing should behave. After we are setting up the answers for individual questions, the next step is to set up the scoring. What you can see on the screen, in the column B, it means for the depression, column C is for anxiety, column D is for stress. And each different numbers ranges, it indicates different level of disorder. For example, in the depression, when the scoring is between 0 to 4, it means normal. 5 to 6 is mild, 7 to 10 is moderate, 11 to 13 is severe. Whenever it's more than 14 or equal to 14, it means extremely severe. So this kind of structure is not understandable by Excel formula. So therefore, we only need to keep the lower number. Example 0 to 4, we only keep number 0. 5 to 6, we only keeping 5. 7 to 10, we are only keeping 7, and so on. So by restructure this whole thing, we will see something like this. So what you can see on the screen is after restructuring the numbering, and this whole thing is easier to understand by Excel. So before we continue, we want to turn this whole thing into an Excel table. Subsequently, it's very easy for us to do formula. So first, I just need to select one of the cells inside the new structure. I can go to Insert, then you will see something called Table, and the keyboard shortcut is Ctrl T, and you will select the whole range, and by default, it will check my table has headers. Headers means the first row indicate what is the data underneath. So I just need to press OK. Right after this, I want to give a meaningful name for this table. Subsequently, we are able to refer the meaningful table name, and it will speed up our work. So let's go to Table Design. Inside Table Name, I will remove everything, and I will give it Table Level Disorder. The reason being, I use table as a prefix is because later we will use a similar structure for other table, and whenever we type the formula, we will prefix by typing TAB. It will give us a list of the table in this Excel. Let's go back to here. After you have done with the table name, you can press Enter, and you are able to move on to the next step. This is the final setup we need to do for the results. Column B, they are results for depression. Column C, they are results for anxiety. Column D, they are results for stress. And the different row will have a different disorder level. They are normal, mild, moderate, severe, and extremely severe. The wording is identical with the previous scoring. So before we continue, we just need to turn this whole thing into an Excel table. So I could go to Insert, and I can click on the table, or I can use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl T. I can make sure my table has headers and press OK. Right after this, I want to give it a meaningful name. I will go to Table Design. Inside Table Name, I will remove everything here and I'll give it a meaningful name called Table Recommendation. So once I'm done, I can press Enter. I can go back here and this is done. And let's move on to the final step on calculating the score and showing the result from here. And we are going to create our final report from the result and put forward the recommendation. So now we are going to create the formula by summing the total of stress. So the formula will be something like this: equal sum ifs, and we are going to refer to the questions. The sum range will be based on column D, even though it shows never, sometimes, often, and almost always. Fundamentally, they are just a number. After that, I just press comma, and I will base on the category which is in the column A. I will click on the column A and comma. Column A, it has stress, anxiety, and depression. I only need to focusing on the stress. Rather than setting the wording stress in the formula, I want to go back to my report and I want to refer to the wording stress here. Once I'm done, I can close parentheses, I can press enter. It will return the result. Currently it's none. I can copy this whole thing going down. You can see some of them, it has a total score of 4 or total score of 2, which is based on the previous answer. If let's say I go back to the question for the question number 6, which is for the category of stress, if I go here, I will key number 3, it means almost always, and the result will increase by number 3. Let's see how it works. I go back to the report, and you can see it increased to 3. So we have this total, and the next thing we want to do, based on the result here, I want to go back to the scoring and retrieve what is the wording for number 3. So to do so, I will have something like this. I go back and adjust the formula by having match, press tab key. So by matching the numbers against the table, I just type TAB. You can see currently I have a table disorder and table recommendation. So I will use table level disorder, open bracket, and you will give us a list. And I want to match against the stress, tab and close bracket and comma. I want to use less than, it means it will use a lower number as an indicator. Like just now, 0 to 3, we are keeping number 0. So therefore, we will be using 1 and close parenthesis and press enter. It will give us the stress for the number 3 is on the row number 1. Let's go back to the scoring. Row number 1, it means normal. Instead of showing row number 1, I want to show the wording normal. So therefore, I go back to report and adjust the formula again. Before the match, I will use the function called index. Index, again, I will refer to a table name called table. As you can observe, after I type TAB, I can get the list of the tables available in this Excel file. So this is a very obvious benefit by having a standard prefix in our table name. So table level disorder, pressing the tab key to select, open bracket. I want to get the name from level and disorder column, tab and close bracket. And you can observe the match is somehow disappears. So this is the things you may want to observe whenever you use this kind of naming convention. Comma, I just need to type it match again and press tab. Remember to remove certain autocomplete, which means the open parenthesis. Once this is done and going towards the end, I just need to have a close parenthesis and press enter. And you can see it becomes normal. I will need to copy this whole thing downward and with minor adjustment again. So rather than comparing against stress, I want to compare against anxiety. So now I have selected stress, I will just remove them. In between the bracket, I just type the A and you can see anxiety appears. That's because inside table level disorder, one of the columns it says anxiety. So I just type the first alphabet, it will give me the list. I press tab and press enter, then go to depression, same thing. I will remove the wording stress and I will change it to depression. I just need to key in the first alphabet D and you can see depression appears. Press tab and enter. Now I have the stress as a normal, anxiety as a mild, depression as normal. And what is the recommendation? Let's see how it works. With the result normal, mild, normal, I want to know the recommendation. Let me go towards the result. For the stress normal, you don't experience any stress, keep it up. So if let's say I go back to report and check for the anxiety mild and I check the result, it will be anxiety mild. I will expect if you have mild anxiety, keep it positive. So these are the wording we want to transfer from the result into report. To do so, I'm using index match equal index. It means to get the result from table, recommendation, open bracket, and I want to get from stress, column, close bracket, comma, match, tab. I want to match normal against the table recommendation, tab, open bracket, comparing the wording against level and disorder. I want to find the exact wording for normal, then comma, 0 for the exact match and close parenthesis twice, and this will return the result. You don't experience any stress, keep it up. So this is correct and I'm able to copy this formula downward by go to field handle and double click. Before I really confirm, I just need to double click, make sure is in the right column. The next one will be anxiety and the final one will be depression. They are not stress. So I just need to change it to depression, enter. So this is done. So this is how we are able to get the result. And before we finally wrap up this report, I want to do some cosmetic changes to make this report much more appealing. In the question, I want to do some aesthetic change. First, I will need to hide the column A because this is not elegant to show towards the user. So right click and hide it. Meanwhile, column F is only temporary. I just need to right click and delete it so it's no longer necessary. Meanwhile, for column D2 until D21, these are the answers. I want to only allow the user to do changes here. Therefore, I will just need to right click and go to format cells. The keyboard shortcut for this is Ctrl 1. So I go to format cell, inside protection, I make sure that's not locked. I can press OK. At the same time, I want to do some changes on the header. I will just select them. I go to home. Then inside cell styles, there's many options. I just need to choose one of them. I will make it bold and I will just turn some of them into the center. I have turned this into center and same with the numbers. Okay, almost done, and I just need to do some outline so that it makes the thing much more easier to see. And meanwhile, the grid line, I will just need to hide it by go to view. There's something called grid lines. I can turn it off. Turn off the heading. It makes the thing looks like a form. You can select them again to indicate with a different color so that the user knows these are the data entry field. I go to home. I go to cell style. I will use a light yellow so the user will know these are the data entry. Once I'm done, I want to log others entry. and only allows the user to perform data entry inside the answer. So I will go to Review, Protect Sheet. You can give it a password. If this is only for testing, you could skip the password. And one thing you want to uncheck is to select locked cell. So that means we are only confining the user within the data entry field and not something outside of it. Once I'm done, I can press OK. If I attempt to go out here, it has no way for me to go out. Even though I use my arrow key, it will just keep on looping. So this is to confine the user within the selection. And meanwhile, for the rest, example scoring, you could hide them by right click, hide. Result is something is only internal, you could right click and hide. You just want to show the question as well as the report. Same thing with the report, and do not want any accidental changes. I will go to Review, Protect Sheet again. I do not want the user to select any one of the cells, so I can clear off, select locked cells, and select unlocked cells. If you want to protect it with the password, you can key in the password, and it will ask for confirming of the password. For this exercise, I just skip this one. I can press OK, and I will go to View, turn off the grid line, turn off the headings, so it looks much more elegant. I can go to questions, and let me clear them off, and let me experiment. Since the highest is number 3, I will just key number 3 for all the questions. The 3, you can see everything, it will change the wording to almost always. I just key in 3 all the way down. When it reaches the end, I will just need to go to report, and you can see the result. They are correct. Stress level, it says stress, the wording. Anxiety, it has the wording of anxiety. Depression, it shows the wording depression. If I just remove half of them, it will change the answer as well. You can see some, they are mild, and one of them is extremely severe. So this is how you are able to use Excel to generate a very simple profiling tool. And you can use the same concept you learned in this video, and you are able to create your own profiling tool as well. If you like or benefiting from this video, you could consider to subscribe to this channel, as well as to share this video to your friends and colleagues so that they are able to learn something together in this channel. And my name is Tai, your Excel Sifu from Excel.